Welcome back. You may recall Love 97 reported a major drug bust happening on Long Island back in August, with some 480 kilos of suspected cocaine discovered aboard an aircraft in Stella Maris, while a Brazilian national was recently arrested in connection with that drug bust. It was shortly before midnight, August 6, that officers acting on intelligence went to the Stella Maris airport and conducted a search of the suspected aircraft when they found 21 croaker sacks containing suspected cocaine. Two Bahamian men, ages 61 and 49 years old, were arrested after that discovery. Police press liaison officer Chief Superintendent Christine Skippings at the time said that police were monitoring the airport after noticing a potential trend of smugglers using that airport to import drugs. On Tuesday this week, a Brazilian pilot, 34 years old, was apprehended by the Drug Enforcement Unit. He was expected to be arraigned in the magistrate court this morning on charges including conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with intent to supply, conspiracy to import dangerous drugs, possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply, and importation. A 35-year-old woman is in hospital nursing burn injuries following an explosion of a propane gas tank at her home on Thursday evening. Police say it was around 6:30 p.m. when fire services received reports of an explosion at a home on Oxford Drive in Stapleton Gardens. Responding officers found the kitchen section of the 6-room single-story stone structure extensively damaged as a result of the explosion. The woman is listed in stable condition. Now, prior to that home fire, firefighters responded to reports of a blaze that engulfed a single-story business establishment off Wolf Road. You are looking at scenes from that second fire. Now, while the cause of the fire is unknown at this time, reports indicate that around 3:45 p.m., fire services personnel responded and effectively contained the fire. However, the building sustained extensive damage. Add to that, 2 male employees, ages 39 and 47, were treated on the scene by emergency medical technicians for non-life-threatening injuries, and they were later taken to hospital for further medical attention. Investigations into both of these fires continue. BTC, which is partly owned by the government, is announcing record growth in its broadband business, reporting that at the end of September, the company had exceeded its target in the third quarter of 2023, continuing the momentum from the first half of the year as customers demanded its faster, stronger, and more reliable fiber services. Commenting on this achievement, BTC CEO Samir Bhatti said BTC is thankful to its customers for choosing them as their provider as they take their partnership with their customers very seriously. Mr. Bhatti said he is happy to close out his first year as CEO with this amazing achievement, as the company had set a very aggressive market share target at the beginning of the year, and every single month they have exceeded those expectations. Earlier this year, BTC became the first provider to introduce gig speeds and the first to offer symmetrical speeds, delivering the same download and upload speeds for customers. Mr. Bhatti said BTC has also been listening to its customers and will introduce several improvements, digitizing and elevating customer care. The government, and by extension the people of the Bahamas, own 49% share in BTC, while Cable and Wireless owns 51%. The Bahamas has remained a stable B+ rating on the Standard & Poor's Global Business Intelligence Rating Review. Moody's Credit Rating also issued a report maintaining the country's stable B1 rating. Minister of Economic Development, Senator Michael Halkitis, says this proves a great economic recovery for the country.
And I think what we take away from both reports is an acknowledgement of the strength of the economic recovery in the Bahamas. Post-COVID, recovering very strong, an acknowledgement of the improved fiscal position, meaning lower deficits, lower amounts of borrowing. As you would recall, this year we are only slated to borrow $45 million in new borrowings in this budget, so lower borrowings, strong external reserves. So those three things taken together, strong economic growth, improved fiscal position, strong reserves are very, very positive signs, and we have done this in an environment of no new taxes on Bahamians.
With that, the reports also state some challenges the country faces that is hindering economic growth. Senator Halkitis says these challenges are affected by international factors.
And the challenges that we face are, in terms of the global economic environment, which has brought on inflation that it's kind of stubborn, And, now you see recently we have some political turmoil going on right to the north of us, and as well the continued conflict in Europe. So overall, positive reports. Of course, we do not rest on those things. There's a lot of work still left to be done. But overall, we are optimistic, but cautiously optimistic, because as you know, we have 2 months left in the hurricane season. We don't know the direction of the conflict in Ukraine, and now we have some political developments in the U.S. that might affect their economy.
The economic minister declares these reports signify the Bahamas is on the right track, but must remain vigilant throughout the rest of this year. And finally, a reminder, Jonquel Jones and the WNBA New York Liberty will begin their best-of-5 championship series with the defending champion Las Vegas Aces on Sunday at 3 p.m. on ABC. Jones and the Liberty eliminated her former team, Connecticut Sun, in the semifinals 3-1. Jonquel has set a WNBA record for the most consecutive double-doubles to open the postseason. She has 6 so far. She also joined the 500 club with more than 500 career playoff points. Meanwhile, the NBA preseason began last night with a game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Klay Thompson and the Golden State Warriors will begin play versus the Los Angeles Lakers on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Eric Gordon Jr. and the Phoenix Suns will begin their season versus the Detroit Pistons on Sunday at 3 p.m. Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers will begin their season versus the Memphis Grizzlies. That's Sunday at 8 p.m. DeAndre Ayton and the Portland Trail Blazers will open the NBA preseason next Tuesday when they host a team from New Zealand. As the new NBA season goes on, many fans and supporters of Kai Jones are hopeful that he makes a successful return to the Charlotte Hornets after a bizarre offseason that has led the team to not invite him to their training camp. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.